In today's episode, Kirill asks, if you were starting from scratch in 2019 with no budget, what would you do to gain traffic for your project? The answer to this question is contingent on what the project or product is. One of the critical flaws of modern marketing today is that we spend so much time on the marketing part, like how do I get more traffic, how do I get more leads, how do I get more sales, how do I get more followers, how do I do all of these things in marketing operations, which are important. You do need to be able to do these things to be able to be successful as a modern marketer, but we don't spend enough time on the product marketing side itself, that is, making a product that people actually want. Concerns like traffic are irrelevant if your product sucks. If your product is terrible, if your product doesn't solve a problem, if it's a solution in search of a problem, all of your marketing operations efforts are going to be wasted. You'll be very frustrated. You'll be very unhappy. And you won't get the results you're looking for. I remember I was working at another company once, and there was this one customer that had this product. It was an anti-money laundering cryptocurrency, and it took them like 45 minutes to explain the product and the mostly hypothetical problem it solved. And like, no one is going to want this thing. Part of the whole idea of the cryptocurrency was so that you couldn't be traced and things like that. And this was 2017, so at sort of the height of the craziness. And then your solution and your ability to explain the problem took so long that I was like, no one's going to buy this thing. No one's going to want this thing. No one's going to invest in this thing because it doesn't solve a problem. If anything, it is antithetical to the problem that the bigger product category solves. And so, unsurprisingly, the company went kaboom, and there was no way to market this thing. So, whatever your product or project is, it has to solve a real problem that real people, and a lot of real people, have, and that real people are desperate for a solution for. If you have that, and your product or project requires almost no explanation, then there are very straightforward, traffic and awareness generation tactics that work really well. So, let's say your product helps make purchasing something easier, right? Maybe it's an app on your phone that streamlines purchases, and it works so well that a person just has to wave their phone in a magic pattern, like it's kind of a silly example, but maybe they have to draw their initials in the air with the phone, and the phone knows that they intend to purchase something, and there's no friction. They don't have to do any kind of special crazy authentication. They just wave their phone like a magic wand, and the phone knows, okay, whatever transaction is being asked for right now, complete the transaction. That solves a real problem, because Face ID and thumbprints and fingerprint ID and credit cards and stuff are still friction points for the end user. So what would you do if you had this magic wand product? You give it away. You give it away to as many people as you possibly can, especially influencers within your niche or vertical or your industry, and you let them do the talking about it. If it's really as good as you believe it is, then handing it away to people, it doesn't have to be open to the world. It can be to a select group of 50 or 100 people, but say, hey, I got this thing. I'd like you to talk about this thing. I'm giving it away. There's no risk to you. There's no risk to your audiences to try this thing out and see what happens. If it works well, if it does what it says it does, then you should have absolutely no trouble getting people to adopt the thing and use the thing. That's one very obvious tactic, that with no money, with no budget, starting from scratch, do your research, figure out who's got the goods, who's got the audience that needs the product that you have, and give it away to them and see what happens. The second thing, if you have no budget, you have to rely on basic things like SEO. SEO is still one of the best ways to generate awareness and traffic and attention. Unbranded SEO, meaning that if you're starting from scratch and nobody has any idea who you are or what your brand is, then you put all of your efforts onto creating content that explains the solutions for the problem that you solve. Again, if your audience is desperate for a solution to your problem, then creating content that has high search volume and is attractive is the way to go. Let's say a very common problem in marketing itself is lead quality, right? So if you create a whole bunch of terrific content that for free about solving lead quality problems, you will reap the benefits of it. It will take a long time. But you can win. You can win on that if you are creating content that is better than anyone else's and that solves a real problem. And I just keep harping on this. It's got to solve a real problem. So much of what's in the marketplace right now doesn't solve anything. Or in fact, in some cases, it makes it worse. Working on part of my book right now on some different technologies for machine learning. And there are cases where machine learning is the wrong answer. It is the wrong answer. It will make things worse. So keep that in mind. So that's the way I would approach it in 2019. SEO and influencers with a product that people actually want. And if you don't have that, don't bother doing the marketing. Fix the product first. As always, please leave any further comments in the comments box. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.